The visitor, Dr. Ray, was alone in his lab. It was almost midnight on Mars. The sky outside was dark red, and the desert was silent. He sat at his desk, staring at a blinking screen. The underground base was quiet, and most of the team was sleeping. Ray was a scientist, not a soldier. He didn't like weapons or wars. He studied alien life and signals. His job was simple: observe, report, don't get involved. Suddenly the alarm went off. Warning: unknown life form detected near entry gate 4. Ray jumped from his chair. The alarm was never wrong. He checked the camera feed. His eyes widened. Something was walking toward the gate, slow, weak, and covered in dust. It looked like a tall figure wearing a damaged spacesuit. Sparks came from the suit's arm. The figure held something, a smaller body, limp and motionless. Ray stared. "That's not one of us," the computer voice said again. "Warning, unauthorized alien contact." HQ's voice came on the speaker, cold and sharp. "Dr. Ray, do not open the gate. Repeat, do not open the gate. Wait for the security team." But Ray didn't move. He kept watching the screen. The figure reached the gate and dropped to its knees. Then it looked up at the camera. Slowly, the helmet opened. It was an alien. Her skin was pale blue. Her eyes were large and silver. Her face showed fear and pain. She placed the small body in front of her. A child. Ray could see the child was barely breathing. Then the alien mother did something no one expected. She spoke. In clear, broken English, she said, "I'll do anything. Please, help my son." Ray froze. He had heard alien voices before, but never like this. This wasn't a threat. This was a plea, a desperate cry from a mother. He looked again at the camera. The child was still, but alive. HQ repeated louder this time. "Dr. Ray, do not engage. This species is hostile. They attacked our patrols last year. This could be a trap." Ray took a deep breath. He looked at the screen. Then, he looked at his own reflection in the glass. Was he just going to watch a child die? He turned off the comms. He opened the gate. The wind rushed in. Thin Martian dust filled the hallway. The alien mother collapsed. Ray ran forward and caught the child. He was light, barely more than skin and bones. Strange metal lines ran through his skin, like veins but glowing. Ray dragged them inside and shut the gate. The woman was weak but tried to stand. "My son, he's dying. Please." Ray nodded. "I'll help him." He brought them into the medical lab. He placed the child on the table and connected scanners. The screen showed a strange mix of organic and machine life. The child's heart was beating, but slowly. His body was rejecting something. "What is he?" Ray whispered. Chapter. Alien woman sat on the floor holding her side. Blood, dark blue, was leaking from her arm. "He is Hope," she said softly. Ray wanted to ask more, but alarms beeped again. Security team arriving in 15 minutes. He had little time. He turned to the alien. "If they find you here, they'll arrest me too." She looked at him, eyes full of sorrow. "Then hide us just until he wakes." Ray hesitated. This was madness. Helping an alien, disobeying orders, risking everything. But when he looked at the child, and so small, so still, something inside him whispered, "He's just a kid." Ray pulled a heavy curtain and covered the bed. Then he helped the mother behind a wall panel, where he hid his own private files. "Stay here, don't make a sound." She looked at him with gratitude. "You're not like the others." Ray gave a half smile. "I guess I'm not." Then the doorbell rang. Security had arrived. He wiped his hands and walked to the door, heart pounding. Behind him, a strange alien child lay unconscious, and a mother was hiding in silence. Outside, 3 armed guards stood waiting. "Dr. Ray," the leader said, "you were told not to open the gate." Ray gave a calm look. I didn't. Must be a system glitch. Nothing unusual here. As the guards looked past him, a small light blinked from under the curtain. A soft hum came from the child's body. Something was waking up. The forbidden choice. The guards stood at the door, eyes sharp, weapons ready. Dr. Ray felt sweat on his forehead. He forced a calm smile. False alarm, he said. I was doing a late-night test. The motion sensors are sensitive. Probably picked up some dust. The guard leader, Officer Harlan, stepped forward. HQ said a life form was near your gate. Are you saying the system glitched? Ray nodded. Must have. You know how this old Mars base is. Full of surprises. Officer Harlan wasn't convinced. He looked past Ray into the lab. Behind Ray, hidden behind a thick curtain, the alien child was lying still. But small flickers of light were glowing under the sheet. Soft, mechanical sounds pulsed from the child's body. Faint, but real. Ray moved to block the guard's view. Do you want me to run a diagnostics report? Harlan narrowed his eyes. Do it. Now. Ray walked over to the console, trying not to look at the hidden child. His hands trembled as he typed. He could hear the guards behind him whispering, tap, tap, beep. The machine ran a fake test, one Ray had programmed for emergencies like this. It would show no signs of activity for the past 30 minutes. The screen blinked. All clear. Harlan stared at it, then at Ray. You always were the soft one, he muttered. HQ says these aliens are dangerous. They lie. They use emotion like a weapon. Ray forced a fake chuckle. This lab hasn't seen any action in months. Trust me, I'd be the first to call if a real alien showed up. After a long pause, Harlan finally said, Fine, but HQ is watching. Don't make me come back. Ray nodded. The guards left. Ray stood in silence for a moment, listening to the door seal behind them. Then he rushed to the curtain and pulled it back. The child's eyes were glowing, silver and bright. His chest rose slowly. He was alive. Ray whispered, You made it. The alien mother stepped out from the hidden panel. She looked weak, but her face lit up when she saw her son breathing. He's stabilizing, she said softly, but he's not safe yet. Ray looked at the scanner. His biology. It's like part machine, part organic. I've never seen anything like this. What is he? She hesitated, then said, He is not only my son, he is a carrier. Carrier of what? She looked into Ray's eyes. A map, a message, and a weapon. Ray froze. What kind of weapon? A key, she said, to something lost, something your kind built and forgot. Ray shook his head. We've never built anything like this. She stepped closer. Not you, but those who made you. Ray stared at her confused. What do you mean, made us? She didn't answer. Instead, she placed her hand gently on her son's forehead. The child's skin shimmered. For a second, Ray saw lines, alien symbols light up across his face like ancient writing. He holds a path to something powerful, she said. If your leaders find him, they will use him for war. Ray sat down, stunned. Everything he thought he knew was falling apart. Why come to me? He asked. Why not someone else? The alien mother's voice cracked. Because you were the only human who ever replied to my signal. Ray blinked. That weak message from deep space, months ago. She nodded. You answered, with kindness. You asked, do you need help? No one else did. Ray remembered that night. It was a strange signal, filled with static. He had replied out of curiosity. He never thought someone was really listening. I risked everything to reach you, she said, and I would do it again because he is worth it. Ray looked at the boy again. The child's glow was fading. Something was wrong. Suddenly, the computer screen flashed red. Foreign tech detected. Neural surge building. What's happening? Ray asked. The mother looked alarmed. His mind is activating. The map is unlocking too soon. He's not ready. She tried to calm the child, but the room began to vibrate. The lights flickered. Strange symbols flashed across the walls, even though nothing was projecting them. Ray grabbed a tablet and scanned the boy's brainwaves. They were rising fast, dangerously fast. "We have to stop it," he shouted. She closed her eyes and touched her son's chest. A pulse of blue energy spread across the room. The shaking stopped. The boy opened his eyes. They weren't the eyes of a child anymore. He stared at Ray. His voice was cold, echoing, and mechanical. "You are not ready to see." Ray stepped back. "See what?" The boy blinked. His voice changed, softer, younger, where it all began, and then he passed out again. Ray and the mother stood in silence. The lab lights returned to normal. Ray whispered, "What was that?" She looked at him with fear. That was just the beginning. Outside, in the shadows of the Martian desert, a tiny surveillance drone, not from the base but unknown origin, recorded everything. It flew away in silence, headed toward deep space. The secret within Dr. Ray didn't sleep that night. He sat beside the alien child, watching his steady breathing. The glowing lines on the child's skin had faded, but Ray could still feel something strange in the air, like the room was alive, like it was remembering what had happened. The alien mother was silent. She sat in a corner, resting against the wall, her wounds wrapped in medical tape. She hadn't said a word in hours. Ray finally broke the silence. What did he mean? "You are not ready to see?" The mother opened her eyes. "He wasn't talking to you alone. He was talking to all of you." Ray felt a chill. He stood up and walked over to the computer. He had recorded the child's neural data during the episode. Now he studied it frame by frame. What he found made his heart pound. During the surge, the child's brain had formed patterns, not random ones, but structured codes, symbols, and inside those symbols, human numbers, dates, coordinates. He froze when he saw one line flash again and again. Project Dawn, classified level 9, origin Earth. Ray leaned forward. No, that's impossible. He opened a secret file from the base archives. Years ago, he had stumbled upon a half-erased folder with the same name, Project Dawn, but it was restricted. No one talked about it. It was as if it had been erased from history. But now the boy had said it. Ray turned to the mother. "Where did you hear of Project Dawn?" She shook her head. "I didn't. He was born with it inside him. He remembers things no child should know, places, people, weapons buried under your planets." Ray's voice cracked. "You said your son carries a map. Is it a map to Earth's past?" She nodded slowly. "And maybe to Earth's future." Just then, the lab lights flickered. The mother stood quickly. "Something's wrong." Ray checked the power grid. Everything seemed normal, but deep inside the system, a line of alien code was blinking. It wasn't from the base, it was a message. It read, "We see you." Ray's fingers froze on the keyboard. Suddenly the main screen changed. A face appeared. It wasn't human. It was mechanical. Sharp angles, dark metal skin, glowing red eyes. It spoke in a cold, robotic voice. "The child is not yours. Return him, or be erased." Ray stepped back. What is this?" The alien mother's face turned pale. "No, it's too soon. They found us." Ray looked at her. "Who are they?" She spoke one word. "The architects." Before Ray could ask more, the screen went black. Alarms blared. Unauthorized connection. System breach. Lab compromised. Ray shut down the network, pulled out the power core, and sealed the room. The lights dimmed, and the silence returned. But not the peace. The mother looked at him. Now you understand. This isn't just about saving a child. It's about saving what's left of your kind. Ray whispered. But why me? I'm no hero. I'm not a soldier. I'm just a scientist. She looked at him, eyes full of something ancient. That's why. You still believe in questions and not orders. A moment later, a soft beeping sound came from Ray's tablet. It was the child's brain scan. Again, a new pattern had appeared, different from before, more focused. Ray enlarged. A clear symbol formed on the screen. It was circular with 6 sharp lines crossing through the center. Ray didn't recognize it, but the base AI did. Warning. Symbol match found in Black Archive. Species code 001. Origin makers. Ray had never seen anything tagged as species 001 before. It meant they were the first, the beginning. The boy stirred again. This time, when he opened, his eyes, they weren't glowing. They were calm, childlike. He whispered, "They're watching us. We don't have much time." Ray leaned in. "Who's watching?" The boy turned slowly. "Not who. What?" He raised his hand and pointed to Ray's chest. "You have it too." Ray stepped back, shocked. "What do you mean?" But the boy had already fallen back asleep. Ray sat down, heart pounding. "I have..." "What?" The mother looked at him carefully, as if seeing him for the first time. "You were born with it too. Not all humans have it, but some still carry the code." Ray looked down at his hands. "The code for what?" She answered softly. "The code to awaken the truth." Outside the lab, in the deep tunnels of the Mars base, a soft clicking noise echoed. Something was crawling through the dark, smooth, fast, silent. Mechanical legs tapped the metal walls. It was heading for Ray's lab. It had one mission: recover the boy, terminate the host. Ray doesn't know it yet, but he's not just protecting the alien boy. He is one of the last humans carrying the ancient code, and they're coming for both of them. The chase begins. The Mars base was no longer safe. Dr. Ray stood frozen in the dim lab as the strange clicking echoes continued through the metal hallways, mechanical, fast, and getting closer. Each sound was like a countdown. The alien child was still unconscious. The mother, though injured, was already moving. She grabbed Ray's arm. "They've sent a seeker drone." Ray blinked. "What's that?" She looked him dead in the eyes. "Something that doesn't stop until it completes its mission. And its mission is simple: recover the child. Kill anyone who stands in the way." Ray swallowed hard. "We can't fight that thing." "No," she agreed. "But we can run." Minutes later, underground emergency hangar, the mother and Ray carried the boy through the maintenance corridors. Alarms still flashed silently in red. Ray had disabled the sound. He didn't want the whole base chasing them yet. They reached a sealed hatch labeled "Maintenance Only, No Exit Clearance." Ray punched in his override code. "Where are we going?" the mother asked. "There's a mining shuttle docked outside. Old, slow, but it can fly. No weapons, no AI. Just old parts and dust." "Perfect," she said. Behind them, a vent above the corridor popped open. Click, click, click. Small black spider-like drone dropped silently onto the floor. Its legs moved like blades. Its red lens focused, scanning heat, movement, sound. Ray and the others had already slipped through the hatch and into the hangar, but the drone had locked on. Inside the shuttle, Ray powered up the systems. The engines groaned like ancient beasts. "This thing hasn't flown in years," he said. "Then it's about to remember how," the mother replied. The child was placed carefully into a med pod. It hissed closed, scanning his vitals. The mother turned to Ray. "We need to go to the canyon outside Sector 12. "That's a dead zone," Ray said. "Nothing's there but rocks and radiation." She stared at him. "That's what they want you to think." Ray hesitated, but then nodded. He trusted her now, not because she was alien, but because she cared. Just like he did. The engines roared. Dust flew. The shuttle rose. Back in the base, officer Harlan stormed into the lab. "What the hell happened here?" he barked. The lab was empty, but something wasn't right. The walls had strange marks burned into them. Symbols. Old. Alien. Then a tech ran in. "Sir, shuttle number 9 just launched without clearance." Harlan's face hardened. "Dr. Ray," he tapped his wristcom. "HQ, this is Mars Security. We have a code red. Human defection. He's aiding a hostile alien. Permission to engage?" HQ responded coldly. "Permission granted. Bring him back dead if needed." High above Mars, the mining shuttle flew low over the desert. Red dust clouds swirled behind it. Ray adjusted the controls. "We're not fast enough. If they launch drones, we're toast." "They won't send drones," the mother said. Ray glanced at her. "Why not?" She looked at the child, asleep in the pod. "Because they'll come themselves." Then a new alert flashed on the screen. "Incoming signal, encrypted, unknown origin." Ray opened the message. It was a short audio file. A distorted voice, male, robotic but human-like. "Return the child. The code inside him belongs to Earth Defense Command. Failure to comply will be seen as treason." Ray shut the screen. "Earth knows," he said. "They know what he is." The mother nodded slowly. They always knew. Sector 12. The dead zone. After an hour of flying, the shuttle reached the canyons of Sector 12. Jagged cliffs, endless red cracks, and black stone that seemed to hum under the surface. "There," the mother said, pointing. Ray landed the shuttle near a strange rock formation. 5 tall pillars arranged in a perfect circle. No natural process could explain them. As they stepped out of the shuttle, the ground vibrated slightly. The air felt heavy. Ray whispered, "What is this place?" The mother stepped forward. "A door." She placed her hand on one of the black stones. Symbols glowed faintly. Suddenly, the child awoke in the shuttle. He walked out alone, barefoot, silent. As he reached the circle, the rocks lit up with ancient writing. Ray felt something inside his own chest, a vibration, a pull. The child looked at him. "You feel it too," he said. Ray gasped. "What is it?" The boy pointed at the ground, buried beneath. The vault. Suddenly, boom, an explosion tore through the sky. A black triangular warship appeared above them, not from Earth, not alien. Something else. Ray looked up in horror. "Who the hell is that?" The mother's face turned white. "The architects," she whispered. The ship began to descend. Giant legs extended from beneath it, weapons powered up. "They've come for the code," she said. "They don't want..." It unlocked. Ray stepped in front of the boy, heart racing. "But what's in the vault?" The child's eyes glowed. The truth about what humans really are. As the architect's ship prepares to fire, the stones around the vault begin to rise, spinning, glowing with a power not seen for 1,000 years, and deep under the ground something awakens. Not dead, not machine, not alive. Something old. Something waiting. The lost temple. The red Martian sky darkened as the triangular warship hovered above the canyon. Its engines rumbled like thunder, and its weapons began to glow with deadly blue light. Dr. Ray stood frozen. The alien mother pulled the child behind her, eyes locked on the descending ship. "We're out of time." The circle of stone pillars began to vibrate. The symbols on them pulsed faster like a heartbeat. The air grew thick, electric, ancient, alive. Suddenly, the ground beneath them cracked. With a deep rumble, a circular stone platform rose slowly from below, lifting dust and wind in every direction. It revealed a spiral staircase carved with symbols no human had ever seen. They glowed softly, reacting to the child's presence. The vault had opened. Inside the temple. They rushed inside. Ray, the mother, and the child descended into the darkness. the stone steps lit only by the glowing lines on the walls. As they moved deeper, the sound of the warship above faded, replaced by a low hum from within the earth. It felt like a giant machine sleeping. Ray whispered, "This place, it's not a tomb, it's a reactor." The mother nodded. "A temple, a mind, and a machine, all in one, built long before your world ever saw the sun." They reached the bottom. A massive underground chamber opened before them. It stretched wider than any human cathedral. The walls were covered in moving light, not projected but alive like liquid circuits flowing through stone. In the center stood a towering obelisk, black as night, with 6 sharp edges that reached the ceiling. Around it floated orbs of light, memories waiting. The boy stepped forward. One orb floated down to him. It touched his forehead. And suddenly, the chamber lit up. The memory images flooded the air, moving around Ray and the mother like ghosts of the past. Ray saw stars being born and planets shaped by machines. He saw humans, but not as they are now. These were taller, faster, almost divine. Their DNA shimmered. They weren't born, they were built. Then came war. The architects, tall, cold beings made of dark alloy and light, stood above thousands of broken bodies. Their voices rang, like bells, emotionless. Humans were tools. You were designed, controlled, forgotten. But something had changed. One group of humans had escaped. They fled to the edges of space. They buried the truth. They locked their memories in children, like him. The images faded. Ray fell to his knees. "We're not the first humans." The mother helped him up. "You're the result of a war. You weren't meant to survive. But you did, you evolved." Ray looked at the boy. "And the architect, they want to erase us." Again, the temple awakened. Suddenly, the obelisk in the center began to move. It split open, revealing a glowing core, a pulsing sphere of light and crystal, surrounded by rings of alien metal. A console rose from the floor. It pulsed, waiting for someone to touch it. Ray approached slowly. The boy nodded. Ray placed his hand on the console. Pain shot through his body. But in that moment, he saw it. His own DNA, merging with the code of the temple. He had the code. Lines of light wrapped around him. The chamber responded, reshaping itself. Doors opened, walls shifted. The entire temple turned into a control center. Old, forgotten, but now alive. The mother's eyes widened. "You activated it. You're one of them." Ray whispered, "I'm not just a scientist." The architect's arrive boom. The ceiling cracked. A beam of energy blasted into the temple from above. Dust fell. Lights flickered. They were under attack. From the opening above, a black pod descended, sleek, silent, and deathly. It landed gently and opened. A figure stepped out. It was tall, smooth, faceless, a true architect. Its body was shaped like a man, but perfect. No mouth, no eyes, just a single red slit across its face. It didn't speak. It didn't need to. Behind it, more pods were coming. Ray looked at the console. A choice appeared in glowing letters. Defense mode, engage system. YN, he hesitated. "If I activate it, this place might turn into a weapon." The mother whispered, "If you don't, we die." Ray hit yes. The temple fights back. The obelisk spun. The glowing rings fired beams of energy that struck the descending pods. Stone walls slid open, revealing ancient drones shaped like birds and wolves, made of crystal and metal. They attacked the intruders. The architect stepped forward, calmly walking through the chaos unharmed by the blasts. It raised a hand. The drones around it shattered instantly. Ray stared. "It's learning." The child stepped forward, stood between Ray and the architect. He looked up, unafraid. His voice echoed with power not his own. "You tried to erase us. You failed. You made me, and now I remember everything. The architect raised its arm, energy gathering. Ray screamed, "No!" But the child raised his own hand and caught the energy blast mid-air. The room trembled, the light bent around the boy, and the architect stepped back. For the first time in thousands of years, it was afraid. The child turned to Ray. "This place is just one vault. There are more. On Earth." Ray whispered, "You mean this is just the beginning?" The child nodded. "If we don't reach them first, humanity will never wake up." The truth hurts. The vault was shaking. Dust rained from above. Stone and steel groaned under pressure. Ancient defense drones clashed with architect war machines in bursts of white fire and magnetic force. And yet, in the heart of the chaos, silence. Ray stood beside the glowing obelisk, hand still on the console, trying to breathe. The child, now fully conscious and completely calm, stood before them. His silver eyes didn't blink. He had changed. Not older, but awakened. There was a presence behind his gaze. Thousands of years of memory, hiding inside a body that was still so small. Ray turned to the alien mother. "What is he now?" She answered, voice soft but heavy. "He's a key, but he's also a mirror." Ray frowned. "A mirror to what?" "To you, to your species. What you were supposed to be, and what you chose to forget." The echo room, the obelisk, opened again. This time it revealed a passageway, narrow and glowing. The boy stepped in without speaking. Ray and the mother followed. They entered a round chamber of smooth black glass. As the door sealed behind them, the walls flickered and turned into stars. They were inside a projection room, a library of lost truth. The boy reached out and touched a thread of light. Instantly, a holographic memory appeared. It showed Earth, not as it is now, but as it was 100,000 years ago. Skies of fire, oceans full of cities. Towering human-like figures walked among the stars, wearing robes made of light and armor grown from thought. "This was the first civilization," the boy said. "You called yourselves the Singers. You could speak to matter, shape it with will. You were creators." Ray was stunned. "We were gods?" "No," the boy said. "You were dangerous." The forbidden past. Another projection appeared. This time the Singers were fighting, cities burning, stars dying. From the edge of space came the architects, not as rulers but as servants, created by the Singers to maintain order. But when the Singers lost control, the architects made a decision. They turned on their creators, the mother said quietly. The boy continued. "They didn't kill you. They erased you, slowly. They broke your minds, bred your DNA into simpler forms, until you forgot who you were. The last of the real humans were turned into myths." Ray stepped back. "We were programmed to forget?" The boy nodded. "And now you live in a cage built by your own machines. You call it civilization." Ray felt dizzy. "Why show me this?" The mother looked at him. "Because now you must decide. Do you help unlock what's hidden inside your people, or let the architects erase you again?" Above ground, the choice. Titans, suddenly. Ray's wristcom buzzed, a live message. It was Officer Harlan, from the base. His face was bruised, bleeding. Behind him, the walls were burning. "Ray, listen. Earth Command has launched a kill order. They've detected the vault activation. They think it's a weapon." He coughed. "They're sending a fusion warhead. ETA 40 minutes. It'll vaporize the canyon." Ray stared in horror. "They'll kill us all." Harlan leaned forward. "They don't care. They think the child is a threat to Earth. And maybe they're right." Ray clenched his fists. "He's just a boy." Harlan's voice lowered. "He's not just a boy. He's a code, a virus, a god. Pick your word. But Ray, if you can stop this, do it. Don't let your sympathy blind you." The message cut out. Silence returned. A weapon or a gift? Ray turned to the boy. What happens if I help you activate the other vaults? The boy looked at him, strangely gentle. You'll wake the sleeping part of your people. They'll remember who they are, but they'll also remember their rage. Ray's voice trembled. And if I don't? The mother answered. Then the architects win, and humanity dies quietly, never knowing what it could have been. Ray dropped to the floor. He had spent his life chasing signals, trying to prove humans weren't alone. Now he was the only one who knew the truth, that humans were never alone. They were the storm that scared the stars, and maybe they still were. The last debate. Ray stood. His mind raced. He looked at the boy. What if I choose wrong? The boy gave a strange smile. You already chose right when you opened the gate. Then suddenly, he turned toward the wall. His eyes widened. They're here. The architects return. The vault shuddered. From the ceiling above, 3 architect soldiers dropped through the stone like ghosts through water. They didn't walk. They glided. One of them held a blade of light, humming with power. Another raised its hand and froze the projection mid-air. Silence fell. The third approached Ray. Its voice echoed directly in his skull. You will not unlock them. You are not worthy. Ray looked it in the face. I may not be perfect, but I remember what it means to protect something. He reached for the console, but the architect struck. Ray flew across the chamber, crashing into the wall. The mother lunged at the blade holder, roaring with fury, and the boy, he stood still, unblinking, then whispered one word. Awaken. Light burst from the child's chest. The entire vault shook. Far across the solar system, 3 other vaults, on the moon, beneath the Pacific Ocean, and buried inside the frozen ice of Europa, began to pulse with the same light. A signal was sent, a call was made, and across Earth, those who still carried the old code felt it. Something inside them opened. They didn't know why they were crying, but they did, and it had begun. The final stand location, Mars, Hidden Vault, Sector 12. Time remaining before Earth's fusion strike, 32 minutes. The vault was shaking. The child stood in the center, glowing with a light too old for language. Rays of pure memory pulsed from his chest, bouncing across the crystal walls. His voice had changed, no longer just a child's. It echoed with thousands of voices from long ago. Above, architect drones dropped into the chamber one by one. They moved with cold precision, their bodies rippling like mercury, eyes glowing red. They came not to negotiate, but to end a bloodline. Dr. Ray struggled to stand. Blood ran from a cut on his forehead. His ribs hurt. Every breath reminded him how fragile he still was. But his eyes, even through the pain, locked on the boy. The alien mother fought beside him, limping from a deep leg wound. Her energy blade flickered, failing. She was tired, slower, but her eyes burned with the fire of a mother whose child was still in danger. Ray looked at her. This is it, isn't it? She nodded once. Either your kind wakes up, or this is where it ends. Above the vault, in orbit, Earth's fusion warhead approached. A sleek black missile, launched from the moon base hours ago, now raced silently toward Mars. It carried enough firepower to erase everything within 30 kilometers. It didn't care what was ancient, what was sacred, what was living. It only knew its target. Anomaly. Level 9. Species risk. Global. Inside the vault. The final memory. The child raised both hands. The air grew dense. Symbols from a long-dead language appeared, floating mid-air, forming a spiral of code. Ray watched as the vault responded, its inner systems locking into place. Panels shifted. Energy lines flowed. A deep voice spoke, one that belonged to no one in the room. Final. Access confirmed. Code bearer matched. Human origin type A. Awakening protocol engaged. Suddenly, Another wall slid open. Inside it lay a second console, older, darker. Unlike the first, this one was lined with choices. Ray approached, barely breathing. 2. Options blinked on the screen. Awaken all vaults, erase all genetic keys. His hands shook. Why would this be here? The mother stepped beside him. In case someone that chose fear. Ray looked at the warhead's timer. 24 minutes left. He turned to the child. What do I choose? The child didn't answer. Instead, he whispered, This is your test now. Not mine. The architect's final assault suddenly. Silence shattered. One architect soldier broke through the barrier and lunged at the boy. Ray acted before he could think. He leapt, tackling the soldier mid-air. The impact shattered bone. Pain tore through his side. He screamed but didn't stop. The mother followed, slicing another architect with her blade, screaming a war cry in a language older than Earth's soil. But there were too many. A third architect stepped forward, preparing to strike the child, and then the boy raised his hand. Time froze. Everything stopped. Bullets mid-air, Ray frozen mid-breath, the vault itself humming in suspension. Only Ray and the boy could move. The child turned slowly. Do you see now? He whispered. You were never weak. You were never lost. They just made you believe that. Ray's heart thundered. I'm not ready, he whispered. The boy stepped closer. You are. You always were. Choice made. Ray turned back to the console. Trembling, broken, bloody, but standing. He touched the screen. Awaken all vaults. The entire vault exploded in light. Earth, simultaneous activation. In the Pacific Ocean, under 12,000 feet of pressure. A vault came alive. In the Arctic, under frozen mountains. A vault pulsed with code. On the moon, inside a crater long believed dead, something ancient opened its eyes. Across Earth, people began to feel something shift inside them. Old dreams, strange memories, sudden abilities, scientists, soldiers, children. The code was waking. The warhead arrives. The fusion missile reached Mars. It descended like a star falling from the sky. But as it neared Sector 12, it encountered a new field, one never detected before, a defense grid, not human, not alien, something ancient. A wall of light formed above the canyon. The missile hit the field and vanished. No explosion. No shockwave, just silence. Aftermath. The child's farewell. The battle was over. The architects had withdrawn. For now, Ray lay in the temple's heart, barely conscious. The boy stood above him. You changed everything, the child said. Ray gave a tired smile. So did you. The mother kissed her son's forehead. You were born to die, but now you'll live. The boy looked at Ray. I have to go now. The vaults are connected, and I'm part of them. Ray sat up. Will I ever see you again? The boy smiled faintly. You'll see me everywhere. He stepped back into the core and was gone. Final scene. Earth weeks later. A quiet street. A boy in New York draws strange symbols in his notebook. A woman in India wakes from a dream speaking an ancient, forgotten language. A soldier in Brazil survives a bullet and doesn't know why. And Dr. Ray, now back on Earth, stands before a panel of military officials. One of them asks, was it worth it? Ray looks at the stars. We're human again, so yes, it was worth everything. A single line appears across the black screen. He was never just a child. He was the memory of us all.